Yeah, thanks for the question. Indeed, I mean, with all these complex designs, sometimes the data don't speak for themselves like they did in the past. If you did a randomized trial of A versus B, it was a no-brainer. You just looked at the number of events in one arm versus the number of events in the other. And, anyone with a basic knowledge of statistics could sort of draw conclusions from that simple comparison. Not anymore, because now we have, platform trials where the treatment groups and the control groups change over time dynamically. We have designs which use Bayesian techniques. The Bayesian, as you know, Bayesian guidance was issued recently during the JP Morgan conference. There was a big announcement that the FDA had the Bayesian guidance out, and that made a big splash. But again, Bayesian interpretation is not nearly as easy. I mean, it's not complex. It's actually perhaps more intuitive, but it is not as straightforward as the sort of standard comparison of numbers of events. So you need to look at the prior distribution that was used and so on. I mean, all these complex designs or complex statistical techniques come with less straightforward interpretation of the data. And so that's why I think the devil is in the detail now. You can't just say it's A versus B. I don't even have to raise any questions. You have to really scratch the surface and go deeply into the methodology to understand exactly what was done. And to be honest, some of these techniques that are used, some of them are so complicated that you can't even access the details that you should be able to access. For example, Bayesian adaptive designs. There's a trial that has made a big splash. It's called I-SPY 2. And it's a wonderful trial because it puts together a large group of investigators. And, the drugs can be assessed in that I-SPY 2 platform trial rapidly. The problem I have with I-SPY 2 is that the methods of analysis are not exactly transparent. And in order to redo the analysis that the trial does, because of this Bayesian adaptive design, where the randomization ratio changes dynamically over time, it's really hard to compare the arms unless you have all the details that went into the design of the trial. And so I think one condition under which these designs are acceptable is that all their details are completely open and transparent. If some of the details are not made available, then you can't reproduce the results. And that, of course, is not acceptable. We need to go into reproducible research and open information about every aspect of the trial design.